Good evening. It is 7 o'clock on June 8th, 2026. I'll call this meeting of the Lansing City Council to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilmember Carter.
Here.
Councilmember Garza.
Here.
Councilmember Hussein.
Here.
Councilmember Cost.
Here.
Councilmember Martinez.
Here.
Councilmember Navarez Martinez.
Here.
Councilmember Pelivanoglu.
Present.
Councilmember Spatafor.
Present.
You have 8 members present at quorum. We are to the meditation and pledge of allegiance.
Is there anyone that folks would like us to keep in our thoughts this evening during our meditation? Mr. Clerk.
Thank you. If we could keep in our thoughts the family of Judy Hackett. She was a longtime leader in the Oak Park neighborhood, and she recently passed away.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Anyone else? Seeing none, please rise.
You have for approval the proceedings of May 18th.
Councilmember Pelivanoglu.
Thank you. I move the minutes of May 18th, 2026 as presented.
It's a proper motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Okay, we are to special ceremonies and presentations. We have a tribute in recognition of the Juneteenth celebration and holiday.
For that, I'll recognize Councilmember Carter.
Thank you. Would the Juneteenth committee please join me in the well? Oh, good. How are you? Good. Yes. How you doing? All right. Well, thank you for being here. I will read a portion of the resolution and then give the floor to you. But by council members of the City Council of Lansing, whereas the oldest African American holiday was first recognized on June 19th, 1865, and is now an official state holiday in 30 states across the country. It was on June 19, 1865, that the news of the Emancipation Proclamation, which President Lincoln signed on January 1, 1863, reached the slaves of Texas. Learning from their freedom, June 19th of 1865 became the true Independence Day for African Americans in the United States. The slaves immediately left the plantations, congregated in the cities, and began celebrating their freedom by praying, feasting, dancing, and singing. This day was named Juneteenth Day, representing the joys of freedom and new beginnings, commemorating the end of slavery in the United States by celebration of liberty, educating the community about the heritage, and promoting positive cultural interaction. Therefore, be it resolved that the Lansing City Council hereby recognizes the 33rd Annual Lansing Celebration of Juneteenth and the 22nd year recognition of the state of Michigan's Juneteenth holiday. We extend our appreciation to the Juneteenth Committee for all of their work in continuing the funding theme, Juneteenth Continues, America's Celebration of Freedom. The 4th of July freed the land, the Juneteenth freed the people. We wish you continued success. And with that, I move the resolution.
That is a proper motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Councilwoman Carter and the entire council. I'm just going to stand so I can see everybody. Hello. It's wonderful to see all of you, my council person, Adam Hussein, and Mayor. We have so much to be thankful for, and first and foremost, that we're here, that we're able to continue and establish the legacy of Juneteenth in Lansing, our 33rd year. Behind me is the working committee, and some are yet in the audience, the hard-working men and women of the Juneteenth Committee. And so We're just honored to be here to continue to do the work that allows us to serve and to be a part of Lansing's greatest community, offering the celebration of Juneteenth, embracing everyone to be included. We have so many activities that we hope are inclusive. You'll find something interesting that you can be a part of. So we want to thank you for that. Secondly, we'd like for you to be able to access our website for further information. If you don't have, if we don't address something that you would like to know, please visit our website, and it's LansingJuneteenthCelebration.org. So just to tell you a little bit about what's going on, and we're just honored to have already kicked off the celebration on this past Thursday at Lansing Community College at the Changemaker Center. So we're going to continue that spirit of celebration as we move forward. I'm going to call on Angela Matthews. She is our voice, our communications team member, as we move forward, and she's accustomed to sharing with you all, everyone, what we're doing in Juneteenth. Angela, if you would, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you so much, Councilwoman Carter, to our illustrious Mayor of Lansing, Mayor Shore, and I say that with heartfelt love, and to this distinguished and awesome council that watches over our city and that you do the work. We are proud of you. And to you, the audience, hopefully that when you hear this information, that you will be compelled to join us for all of the festivities. And if you can't join us for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, just something, just come out. And so we kicked this off last Thursday, as Madam Chair said. But we have some other things that are coming up. For example, we have on Saturday, June 13th, 12 to 6 p.m., tribute to the Negro League's annual ball game and activities. This is going to be held at the Benjamin F. Davis Park. And just because it says Negro League Baseball, that means everyone is invited to come out. Don't let the name deter you. You are invited to come out and celebrate this with us. And then on Thursday, June 18th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., is the Dr. Clyde D. Carnegie Essay Scholarship and Art Competition Program that will happen at the Michigan Library and Historical Center, which is located on 702 West Kalamazoo Street. Then on Friday, we got a lot going on, people, so listen up. On June 19th, 11 a.m., there will be a flag-raising ceremony right here in the City Hall, probably outside. Bring your water, bring your umbrellas, don't faint, because I can't help you, but you'll be all right. So kicking that off will be the Lansing's first Black female fire chief. Chief Edwards Clemens is our keynote speaker for that. And then later on that day, we're going to have Juneteenth, we call it J-teenth. This is for the children to come out at St. Joe Park and just have a good time. There will be monetary prizes given in that competition, but we just want the whole family to come out and enjoy yourselves on that day. Great music, food, fun. It's going to be fabulous. And then on that Saturday, June 20th, from 11 a.m., starting at 11 a.m., we have our Juneteenth Freedom Festival featuring the African American Parade. Don't sleep on this, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to wind through the West Side neighborhood and culminate at St. Joe Park, and we're just going to have a ball. Lots for the kids, lots for the adults. It's going to be a safe place and space, so make sure that you come out. We have a very special guest that's going to headline our jazz area, but I'm going to let one of our other Juneteenth committee members tell you about that. Maybe I've been talking a little bit too much, but you know I'm so excited about this.
All right, thank you, Ms. Angela. I'm going to introduce some additional members that are standing here. So I'll start this way. We have Joy Gleason, who heads up our vendors. She's the vendor coordinator. So if you've reached out, I'm getting to that. So if you would like to be a vendor, and we have maximized capacity, so we're not accepting, but make sure that you join us early next year so that you can be a vendor and exhibitor. We also have the NAACP joining with us for the Jobs and Community Resource Fair. And as Joy has said, she is also over the car show, and she might want to have a word about that.
Good evening, everyone. This is the second year that we are having a car show at Juneteenth, and we're very excited about bringing another area for family fun to come out. So if you would like to show your car at the show, check in on our website. Once again, it's lansing.juneteenthcelebration.org. And if you just like to look at all of the fabulous cars in a car show, come out on June 20th and do that too.
All right, thank you, Joy. Let's see here. We have a health fair. Our health fair coordinator is here. That's Alicia Drain. Alicia, can you share with us some of the participants of the health fair?
I sure can.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So I am the health fair coordinator. So just to name a few, there are tons. We have LCC, and they have 3 programs coming. That is their nursing students, dental hygiene, as well as their massage therapy students. We have sickle cell. We have Ingham County Health Department, Lansing Area AIDS Network. We have community mental health. So my list goes on, even Oak Street Health, which is kind of new to the city of Lansing as well. So come out. We'll be having that tent available. You can come between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Thank you, Alicia. All right, so also to mention some of the fun activities, I have Ken Turner, he's our coordinator, he's dual role. So he's most known for the coordination of the ball game. So we talked about that, when it's gonna be Saturday, the June 13th. And let me just see if he has anything he would like to add. No?
We will have 4 teams from Detroit coming down to play in the game. So it'll be 4 games being played from noon to about 6 o'clock. And they're excited to be here. We're excited to have them. Derek Quinney's gonna throw out the first pitch. And our Juneteenth talent show winner from last year is gonna sing the national anthem.
All right. Thank you, Ken. We certainly like to reuse the very important people that become our partners. And so we give the young people something to do, but we're really excited for all of the activities that are going to take place. Hello. We have
Chair?
Yes, ma'am. Pastor P.J. Anderson is with us, and as you know, many of you know, she is certainly a dear heart and a veteran, and so she's generally helps us to remember the things that we should be grateful for. Would you like to have a word?
Only one? In addition to celebrating our veterans as often as we can, remembering our veterans, I am also the one that kind of bugs Sister Marilyn about making certain that we attach watch night service to Freedom Eve. And that's all I'll say about that. You'll be able to read about it in our Juneteenth Telegraph. Thank you.
All right, and that Juneteenth Telegraph News will certainly celebrate the occasion. It will share with us all of our wonderful sponsors. It will tell the story and the correlation of Juneteenth Eve and Watch Night. So it's a piece of information that you'll certainly want to read. It will be available at our website. And so just thanking all of the committee members. We have a new member, that's Rodney Singleton. I'm sure many people know him. He's with our entertainment committee, and he's going to take a pass. But we did want to say, did you want to? All right, come on, Rodney.
Well, I am new to the committee, but good evening.
Good evening.
I'm glad to be working with them. This year, we're going to be featuring, well, the headliner is going to be Phil Denny and Friends. He's homegrown. Many of you, I'm sure, know who he is. Yeah. We'll also have saxophonist Isaac Norris and Grammy-nominated trombonist Hank Bilal. So come out and join us. Bring your lawn chairs, blankets, whatever, umbrellas, and have a good time.
Let's have a good time. All right. And you've already met Miss Angela. So thank you for extending the time for us to tell you about Juneteenth, what we're doing. Juneteenth won't be complete without you all. So again, check out our schedule at the website, lansing.juneteenthcelebration.org. And before we leave, we want to leave each council member with one of our flyers of the events, and Rodney's going to circulate that. And we can't thank the city enough for just standing behind us, being with us. There's a lot that goes into the work of the Juneteenth celebration. So to the mayor, all the council members, even our city clerk, everybody participates when I ask them to. So it's a joy to work with each and every one. And as we leave, we want to say to you that the Juneteenth Committee was very instrumental in making sure that Juneteenth became a recognized holiday in the state of Michigan, and we also helped in the effort in the national holiday of Juneteenth, National Freedom Day. So with that, we say to you, happy Juneteenth, celebrate the month, and learn a little bit more about what it means to you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Our next presentation is Obsolete Property Rehabilitation Act District for 2231 West Willow.
Councilmember Garza.
Thank you, President. Anybody here that's would like to come down to the well to speak on this? I'll give a brief summary of what it is. So this is Obsolete Property Rehabilitation Act, Oprah District at 2231 West Willow Street for AM Land Holdings LLC. Project involves redevelopment of a long vacant industrial property into an auto repair and auto parts facility with significant building rehabilitation, environmental mitigation, and mechanical upgrades. The applicants estimate approximately $700,000 in building renovations with additional vapor mitigation costs estimated between roughly $150,000 and $250,000 due to contamination from historic industrial use at the site. Business plans to specialize in fleet vehicle service and repair while still serving the general public for standard vehicle repairs. And with that, I'll let you guys explain further and correct me if I made any mistakes. Thank you.
Good evening, Council, and thank you, Councilmember Garza. I think you covered most everything. A few updates as far as the investment in the building when you include acquisition and then some of the additional improvements that they're doing to the exterior of the building in the surrounding lot. It's north of likely $2 million of investment total. So I know we didn't discuss that fully during committee. And then we'll get into more of the details here in a moment. But my name is Chris Klein, the Lansing Economic Development Corporation. And this evening, I'm joined by Joseph Brooks with the development company. Just wanted to talk through really quickly the Oprah process. I know a few of these been before you previously, but always good to give a quick refresh. So we are talking about the 2231 West Willow Street property, and we're looking at the Obsolete Property Rehabilitation Act, Oprah District. And so there are two components to an Oprah, as you know, the district and then a certificate. So this current action that it's before you, the request is just for the district, so it does not quite include the certificate. There will be another similar process to actually make the abatement active, but that is a tax abatement tool, freezes the taxes for a certain number of years, up to 12 years in total. And that'll help with the redevelopment of the building, help lower some of the tax costs, to help with financing and other things. So again, the developer's AM Land Holdings. We have Joseph Brooks here. Would you like to introduce yourself and any updates?
Yes, so again, Joseph Brooks, one half of the development team. My partner, Brent Schadenberg, is in the back. He's feeling a little bit ill, so I'm representing us here at the podium. We are, both of us business owners locally in Lansing, have strong ties to this community for a very long time. Also a Michigan State graduate, I know not in the city of Lansing, but you want to make that mention. We feel as though this area in general is a very strong area for business. We wanted to invest in this area because we believe in the talent here in the city, and we are putting our money where our mouth is. This Oprah is really kind of the bow on top that ties this project together. It is very important for us from an investment standpoint that the numbers make right. This, if whoever's familiar with this building, it is a very blighted condition currently. It has been for a very long time, a few decades at least. It has a strong history in automotive industry as well, so we're leaning into that history as well with our architectural development and our plans for the site. And that is kind of a little bit about our history, but as far as the business, it is going to be a automotive body shop. We're focusing on what we believe is a very underserved market, which is focusing on business and fleet opportunities. My partner and I both own our own set of fleet vehicles, and we have a lot of issues getting those vehicles fixed when we need it and in a timely manner. For fleet operators like ourselves, time is money. Every vehicle that is down, we're not able to send an employee on the road. We're not able to serve our communities in the business that we're in. So this is helping keeping the wheels turning, so to speak, in the city of Lansing as well for all of the partners that we'll serve.
Thank you. Sorry. So the project is the renovation for two businesses of the, in total it's 33,000 square foot warehouse. So it's an auto body and paint business as well as the body shop, specialized body repair shop. It will include approximately 30 new full-time employees. And as stated, the investment cost is going to be north of $2 million when doing both the full build-out as well as acquisition. And as the council member mentioned, some of the environmental concerns of the property, the Lansing EDC is also looking to support the development through an application to Eagle for a brownfield remediation grant. It's almost $350,000 for remediation. Major component of that is a vapor mitigation system that's required to make the indoor air quality and the site safe for folks to utilize that property. There's multiple issues on site, as you mentioned, the history of the building, but also there's some PFAS and other contamination within the ground. So that, along with all of the costs to implement those improvements and the remediation, that definitely increases the cost significantly of the overall project. So the building was determined to be functionally obsolete, which is a requirement of the Oprah program, and this was determined by the city assessor last fall. That includes the contamination that requires remediation, the replacement of mechanical systems. There are no bathrooms within the facility, and there's also a compromised roof structure. So all of those things combined, making the property itself functionally obsolete. So again, the request before you is the establishment of the Oprah district, and so that'll allow them to commence work on the site without jeopardizing a future request for a certificate.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. Any questions, discussion? Seeing none, thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are to comments by council members and the city clerk.
Any members of the council wishing to make comments this evening? Councilmember Navarez-Martinez?
Yes, I wanted to thank Councilwoman Carter for leading the Ward 2 meeting this last week. It was a really great conversation about all of the construction projects that we have going on. And so I just wanted to say that. Thank you so much. One of our illustrious Ward 2 residents.
Thank you. Councilmember Palavanaglou.
Thank you, President Spatafor. Yes, Councilwoman Carter is actually pulling double duty this month because I would like to announce the at-large constituent contact meeting that at-large members do have scheduled. That will be held on Saturday, June 27th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Neighborhood Empowerment Center located at 600 West Maple. We will have representatives from our Public Service Department to discuss roads, sidewalks, trees, and of course take any other questions that our residents have questions on. So that will be held again Saturday, June 27th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. There is accessible parking. We will have light refreshments for those in attendance, and we hope that you join us. I do have one more item that I'd like to bring up that was recently discussed in the Committee on City Operations, and that is our local fireworks ordinance. We have just come out of the Memorial Day holiday weekend. We are heading into Juneteenth, of course, 4th of July, and later this year, Labor Day. So just a brief reminder for residents out there that fireworks are permissible during the holidays of New Year's, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, from June 29th through July 4th for the 4th of July holiday, and then the Saturday and Sunday before Labor Day. The times that fireworks are allowable are from 11 a.m. to 11:45 p.m. And just a reminder that fireworks in public parks are not allowable. And just for your awareness, the Parks Department may place temporary signage during the 4th of July holiday to remind residents of that rule. If residents have a concern about fireworks being lit in their neighborhoods or in situations they think are dangerous, you can certainly contact 911 or call the LPD non-emergency line to report. And just as a reminder, the dispatch operators at 911 determine the priority of calls received. So just please note all of those rules as we head into another holiday weekend on Juneteenth, and then followed by the 4th of July holiday. Thank you.
Councilmember Hussein.
Yeah, and I certainly appreciate that because we're all being contacted with regard to fireworks. And I would just underscore the importance of calling non-emergency at 483-4600. Our officers do actually have to see the discharging of these fireworks in violation of the ordinance in the state's Fireworks Safety Act in order to actually cite. So in any of that, thank you so much for that. The other piece with regard to my comment, we are on summer recess in terms of our constituent contact meeting, so I wanted to make sure folks were aware of that. That's kind of been a historical thing with regard to my representation. What we typically do in lieu of those constituent meetings over the summer months, different beautification efforts, cleanup efforts, different things to advance our corridors, different things to support our businesses. So if you are interested in participating in any of those types of efforts, please email me at adam.hussein@lansingmi.gov. I do send out a regular email with different opportunities and different forthcoming efforts that you can certainly participate in if interested. Also, the Churchill Downs annual picnic would be held Tuesday, June 16th at 6:30 p.m. This is at Wainwright Park. I'm not certain in terms of this is, I don't know, maybe the 25th or 30th iteration, but regardless, it's an incredibly substantive picnic. So we certainly hope if you are a Churchill Downs neighbor or a stakeholder that you come out, again, June 16th at 6:30 p.m. at Wainwright Park for food, fun, and fellowship with your neighbors. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Any others? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you. I do not have any announcements. So we are to community event announcements. If there's anyone in the audience with a community event, we'll give you 1 minute to tell us the details of your event.
And to add to the list of available picnics that you might attend, the Friends of Lansing's Historic Cemeteries is hosting their annual picnic in the cemetery on Sunday, June 14th from 1 to 3 p.m. in the Fratcher Memorial Garden inside Mount Hope Cemetery. You can either bring your own picnic or we will be providing subs, pop, waters, chips, and cookies. And we will have lawn games available for you to play if you choose to do so. So again, that's Sunday, this weekend, from 1 to 3, Mount Hope Cemetery, Fratcher Memorial Garden, free picnic, open to the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Other community events?
Thank you. So, Nick Zaney, President of the Old Everett Neighborhood Association, and we'd like to remind you that on August 8th, at 3 p.m. from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. is our from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. actually is our annual Old Everett Neighborhood Association picnic at Debbie Stabenow Park, hopefully in the pavilion. Also, in terms of our next community meeting, that's going to be sometime in July, either second or third Wednesday. We don't know which, but we are looking at either of those Wednesdays. If you want to attend, please do so. We're hopefully hosting it at the South Lansing Library on Cedar Street. That's all I will say, and I'll yield the rest of my time. And I guess I've added a few picnics to this whole thing.
Thank you. Any other community events? All right, then we are to sign in for public comment on legislative matters. So if you wish to address the city council on anything on the agenda, that is items 4 through 25, that's the blue form in the back if you wish to speak. That does include the special assessment hearing on the snow and ice removal for 25 and 26 winter. So if you have not already signed in, we'll give you about another minute to sign in with Kaylin in the back. And with that, we are to the mayor's comments.
Mr. Mayor. Yeah. All right, thank you, Mr. President. I will try and be quick. I have a lot of things to read out. First, want to wish a happy birthday to Delisa Fontaine. Today is her birthday, so if you get a chance, drop her a text. She'll be really mad at me for doing that, but do it anyway. There was a great public safety walkthrough, and our public media center recorded it, and I've actually heard quite a few comments about it. So if you want to share with any of your constituents or just watch yourself, the money that they put in for our public safety, the millage that they passed, is coming to life. And I know you all have done walkthroughs, but we want to make sure to be able to share that with our constituents. So that's on our city's YouTube page. Our Citizens Academy applications are open, so anyone that wants to do Citizens Academy, please send them to the neighborhood's webpage. On June 10th, our innovation team has their latest iTeam Energy Forum from 6 to 8 at Walter French. Also on June 10th is our first concert in the park, Root Doctor, 7 p.m. at Moores Park. So I'm a huge fan of Root Doctor. I will definitely be there and hope to see everyone there. We have our annual celebration of diversity here at City Hall in the lobby on June 11th. 4:30 p.m. is the reception, and 5 p.m. is the program. There'll be food, fellowship, and usually some very cool acts and presentations and other things. So hope to see people there. June 11th, Bagger Vance will be showing at Groesbeck on the big screen at dusk, which is about 9:15 p.m. So go and bring your kids if you're a golf fan, which I am not, so I have not seen this before, but I hear it's very good. June 17th, our training tower opens for the Lansing Fire Department, which again is part of our public safety complex, so that's good news. June 19th, you already heard, we're doing the Juneteenth flag raising at City Hall at 11 a.m., and then June 20th is the Juneteenth parade. Also on June 20th, the Lansing Police Department will be taking on the Lansing Fire Department in a baseball game at Jackson Field, I believe at noon. So go and cheer on your favorite police or firefighter, or just cheer on a good game for charity. We have our Housing Resource Fair coming up on June 24th. Our HRCS Housing Ombudsman partnering with Ingham County for a huge housing resource fair. That's going to be at Union Missionary Baptist Church, 500 South MLK Junior Boulevard. And HRCS is sponsoring and coordinating the Housing and Tenants' Rights Legal Clinic, and we'll have legal services on hand to answer questions about housing, and we'll conduct some Know Your Rights presentations at both 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. Speaking of which, the HRCS, our fund, our Basic Human Rights Fund, award letters went out on Friday based on the budget that we passed, so roughly 90 programs were awarded, 72 were human services, and 23 were community empowerment. Our Neighborhood Advisory Board grants are also out, so we'll see a lot of projects starting in our neighborhoods, and I know a lot of us get invited to those, and we're going to see a lot of cool things going on. And last but not least, this Friday at 7:30 p.m., Lansing resident Erin Shore will be on Jeopardy! So I hope that everyone will tune in to watch our Lansing resident compete. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Clerk?
All right, we are to public comment on legislative matters, and we do have 3 public hearings that are part of that. Item 4, we already had the overview of that. Item 5 is a noise special permit, and item 6 is a special assessment.
Councilman Garza, anything to add on the Oprah?
Nothing additional to add from the public hearing we just had.
Thank you. Councilmember Palavanagu, item 5.
Thank you. I will just take these in order, number 5 and number 6. Number 5 on our agenda is the noise special permit requested through our Public Service Department to allow for the Lansing Avenue Pump Station project to have their workers extend the hours. Granger Inc. is conducting work as part of the utility and infrastructure improvements in that area. This request is due to some delays that have been felt with the project, including a delay of procurement of electronic sensors, as well as the winter weather stretching longer into the season than anticipated. This request is for work to be conducted on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., beginning June 27th, 2026 through June 26th of 2027. And the general location of this project area is 1701 Lansing Avenue between Grand River and Greenwood Avenues. Moving on to number 6 on our agenda, the special assessment for snow and ice removal for winter 2025 to 2026. A notice was mailed to residents on May 19th of this year to inform them of the assessment, and the public hearing was set for this evening. As of today's date, we have received over 30 written appeals to this assessment. Please note that the Committee on City Operations will begin to address these appeals individually at our upcoming meetings. The next meeting is scheduled for June 11th. That's this Thursday at 4:00 p.m. here upstairs in our City Council conference room. For those of you who are here or who may be watching or paying attention, please look out for communications from this office. We will not schedule all 30 appeals on one day, so please, if our office reaches out to you, please respond and let us know that you have received confirmation of the date that we will address your specific property. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Okay, our first speaker is Nicole Bragan, followed by Colleen Karikatosis. And reminder, you have up to 3 minutes. This is your time to speak. It is not an interactive time, so please feel free to say what you have to say.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm doing the assessment for the snow and ice removal. I received the notice on December 15th, and I believe the work was done on December 16th. Looking at, I honestly don't remember those days. I know when I came home from work on the 16th, it didn't look like there had been anything done, so I didn't think that I had any charges. I work into the evenings, so by the time I get home in December, it's dark out. Googling what the weather was on December 15th, there was freezing rain and ice, so I did the best I could to remove what I could, but I feel like those charges are a little bit extreme, especially since I only have about 15 feet that is shoveled. And my road never gets plowed at all through the whole entire winter. So I kind of find it a little hypocritical that I never get a plowed road, but I have to shovel my sidewalks and they have to be completely clear of freezing rain and ice. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Colleen Karakitsos. I hope I said that right. Followed by Dino Preto.
Colleen Karakitsos. I have a property at 2208 East Michigan, which is a commercial building. I have 2 tenants. And we've had that property since 1983 and never had a ticket ever in all that time. So this is a first for us. And like the previous speaker, we did have service provided there based on my tenant's assessment of situation. He is responsible, has taken responsibility for keeping the street clean. But again, we have 72.5 feet of sidewalk, and there's no way it took 2 hours to clean it at $149 for the first 20 minutes and 20 minutes each for each additional amount of cleaning. I called my snowplow guy and I said, how much would you charge me for 72 feet of sidewalk? And he said, maybe 10 minutes. So either you have the wrong building or your people are not giving you the correct amount of time it's taking to clear the snow or ice. That's it.
Thank you. Next is Lino Preto, followed by Quincy.
Good evening. I'm the tenant for that building, actually. I run the business in the downstairs suite. During December, I was the only tenant in the building, so I was taking care of snow removal for both our lower back lot and the upper and the sidewalk. I had it cleared by my plow guy the week before, and in the interim times, I've been hand clearing any additional snow that had accumulated in the area and salting daily through the thing. So I understand that if something had happened, I hadn't quite had it up to snuff. Fair, but I have to agree with my landlord that the assessment for $500 is perhaps a bit excessive. That particular section of sidewalk never took me more than half an hour to clear by hand alone. So I'd appreciate at least a reassessment of the billing, please. Have a good day.
Thank you. Next is Quincy, followed by Dennis Burdick.
Good morning, City Council. Thank you for your time. My name is Gana Cha. I'm here to represent my mother, Quincy, 60 years old owner in Exit Car Cafe. Because the language barrier, so I'm gonna speak for her. We're located in 1301 East Kalamazoo Street, which is a commercial building. We bought it like 5 years ago. Since the 5 years, this is the first time we have received the ticket. My mother was loving this community and has always kept the sidewalk clean and safe because we never received this additional warning notice in December. We had no idea which this problem came from. And for $500 fine is very heavy bounder for us. As a senior and also a small business owner, she would be very happy to have us to doing communication service instead to helping our neighborhood. Since it's the first appeals in the 5 years, she respectfully thanks for your understanding and hope you could be waive or reduce the fee. And also our property was like 70 feet as well. And it's also telling us that's gonna take 2 hours to just shovel the sidewalk. That's definitely only taking us like 10 minutes as well. So sounds like we all having the same issue as the previous speaker. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Next is Dennis Burdick, followed by John Jester.
Thank you, City Council. My name is Dennis Burdick. I live at 518 North Verlinden Street. I'm disabled. I'm unable to go outside in the winter and snow. Many years I have traveled to Arizona during the winter, not staying in Michigan or the Midwest. This year, I happened to stay, and I did get an assessment because my normal lawn care people were on vacation on December 5th, because that was right after Thanksgiving, and they go to Mississippi, and my backup lawn care people were in Florida. So here I am, caught with a snowstorm, and they're gone. So I panic, and I get on the website to see what snow removal places are available through the city of Lansing. Well, I make the contacts. 2 of them were not taking new customers. Others were either they didn't return my call, did not return my email, or they were disconnected. So I didn't get any helpful resource development from the city of Lansing site. Then I see the people, they come, they clear out my sidewalk, not my driveway, but my sidewalk, and they took less than what was written on the statement. I was curious about that. I'm not disputing the service. They did a good job. I appreciate that they came. I am questioning the amount. Normally, my lawn care people charging me $100 to clear out my sidewalk and my driveway. But I got an assessment of over $200. And I'm like, well, isn't that interesting? So I have concerns about that. And a challenge to the Juneteenth people. If you want to help your young people, help them develop small businesses so that elderly, disabled people like me can have better resources in the community to help us out when we need it. Because I would rather not count on the city. Actually, I can't count on the city. I tried, and it was a failure. So go to your young people and say, you know, because both of my lawn care people are African American, and I appreciate them, and I pay them well for what they do. I would rather pay them and make sure they've got money.
Sir, this is your time to address the council, not members of the audience.
She is a part of the committee for the Juneteenth committee. Isn't she a part of the council?
No.
Oh, I apologize. I thought you were. But I would rather see a community member get the money than the city of Lansing. With that said, I just wanted to make sure it's on the record. I do plan on going to the meeting when I'm notified, because I have more to say. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Next is John Jester, followed by Scott Hershey.
Thank you all for taking the time to listen to our comments and everything. I'd like to start by saying I too have a very small property. I live directly behind the Ronald McDonald House at 1314 Eureka Street. I actually only have about a 25-yard frontage. I have about 6 squares that represent the front. I have a corner lot next to me and a church on one side. I was traveling for vacation, and similarly, my backup plan is my neighbor who experienced a medical event, was unable to travel to help a friend. So I was without knowledge that this had occurred and wasn't able to correct the issue in a timely fashion. My assessment was for $500 for 2 hours, 120 minutes of clearing of the sidewalk and again, I will come to the meeting. I don't expect you all to have to listen to all of our individual complaints, but the assessment rate and the accuracy through which they are transmitting those numbers to you, I believe, is putting you all in an unfortunate position where you are subjected to hearing our complaints based on their inaccuracy of portrayal of their work. And I say that as somebody who specializes in working on homes and very much does appreciate code compliance as well as walkable and bikeable neighborhoods, which are kept, usable by people who keep their sidewalks clean and keep their yards up and stuff. So I would just like to have everyone here be made aware of the fact that I believe it's an inaccuracy of work description that is occurring on a lot of these. Several people who are here all have the exact same 120 minutes of work, $499 assessment, with wildly varying properties, from a property on Michigan that has 70 feet of frontage to a property like mine that has less than 30 feet. So I very much appreciate you all taking the time to listen to all of us. It does make us feel like you are responding and you are very helpful to take these times to listen. It just frustrates me that the city services that we should all be thinking of as these things that make our city livable and that make us proud to be from Lansing are not being accurately reflected to you all for the work that you are getting and that we are paying for. So I am more than happy to pay the portion of because I was gone and I did not have a proper second and third backup plan to get this taken care of. It's Michigan in winter, and it's so hard to plan for all of that. And then to find out that somebody is sort of able to randomly assess how much time they took and then charge us wildly varying amounts makes it hard for city people to trust that we are getting the fair services that I know you all want for us.
Thank you.
So I very much appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next is Scott Hershey, followed by Melissa White, and both Mr. Hershey and Ms. White, you did not provide an email or phone number, so if you would like the council staff to be able to contact you about when the meeting is, please get with Kaylin in the back after you speak and provide that information so that council staff will be able to contact you.
Gotcha. Thank you. I'd like to start by telling the previous guy he did a wonderful job and expressed a lot of my concerns, and seems like everybody here as well, regarding the snow and ice. I am here today to appeal the snow and ice notice from December 17th, 2025 that was mailed on May 19th of 2025. The tenants or myself, the owner, never received a letter, a warning, an ordinance complaint, or any indication by the city that there was an issue or concern regarding snow or ice at 401 South Magnolia. Now, I'm fully aware that we finally experienced a decent winter early on this past season. And I also know that as a result, I took my snowblower to South Magnolia and removed snow on multiple occasions after significant snowfalls. I understand that is a large property to expect my tenants to maintain. However, according to Wonderground.com, today's most high-tech weather app, the average precipitation the week of December 8th was 0.10 inches, and the average snow depth was 0 inches. Furthermore, the week of December 15th revealed an average precipitation of 0.06 inches, with a snow depth of 0 inches. Taking all into consideration, it is hard to imagine any city employee allocating 101 to 120 minutes of their time towards maintaining such a light dusting. That said, I feel a notice received 5 months after the fact for a proven to be questionable violation that I received no prior indication of should be worthy of dismissal and considered a mere warning. It is my hope that all future concerns or warnings by the city will be addressed in a timely manner. I appreciate your time and thanks for hearing me out.
Thank you.
And have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Next is Melissa White. Boyd Myers submitted an appeal, but as my understanding, does not wish to speak.
I'm gonna need a footstool. All right, so my name is Melissa White, and I'm appearing on behalf of Novi Properties. Everybody knows who I am. Hello. 820 West Miller Road, I received the same notice. I understand the city's snow and ice ordinance requires property owners to maintain public sidewalks adjacent to their property. I am not appearing before council to dispute the importance of sidewalk safety. My objection is to the confirmation of this specific assessment without sufficient documentation supporting the violation, the notice, the service performed, the time charged, and the amount assessed. The documents that I received do not establish a clear and consistent record supporting the charge. The postcard notice that's in my possession is dated for December 4th, 2025. It states that the sidewalk must be cleared within 24 hours and that if it is not cleared, the city may clear the sidewalk and assess the cost. The public hearing notice, however, identifies a snow removal date of December 18th and charges of $499 for 101 to 120 minutes of work. That creates a material timing issue in the record. The notice date and the alleged service date are 2 weeks apart, and the city's own notice language refers to an action after a 24-hour period. Based on the documents I received, the charge is not self-explanatory and the timeline is not clear. Furthermore, I went back to my video camera log at that property between the dates of December 4th and December 19th, and I could not see anyone other than the snow removal company that I've contracted with for 2 years to clear my commercial property. However, December 18th was the only day I did not have footage for, so then I decided to review footages from other properties, and I could not even see an accumulation of snow. So I'm not accusing the contractor of acting unethical, but I am asking for proof that the work was completed. I did not receive an invoice for this charge before receiving the public hearing notice. I checked the BSA online, and I did not see an invoice or posted charge that allowed me to review or pay the item before it was moved to a public hearing process. I only first became aware of this when I received the public hearing notice in the mail. And for those reasons, I'm objecting to confirmation of the assessment unless the city record can clearly support the charge. The record should show the date and time of the posting, the condition of the sidewalk at the time of the posting, the recheck after the required period, the date and time of any city or contractor removal, any work logs, service logs, any photographs that this contractor can prove that he actually, or they actually came and did this service. I have records of showing that I had paid my contractor. There was actually, even in February, James and I went out there and did the snow removal ourselves with shovels and snow blowers. So I am requesting that you guys remove it from the assessment, or if not, request that the assessment be held or referred for review and not confirmed against this parcel unless the city provides a complete parcel-specific record supporting the alleged violation, the abatement action, and the calculation of those charges. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Brian and Karen Holmes, followed by Marcia Quenby.
Mine isn't on the snow. Okay. Karen Holmes, and I am part of the owner of 420 Sawyer, and it was red tagged. And I do have proof that we had water at that time through Board Water Light. It was red tagged because it said there's no water, and we have verification that there was water, and through Board Water Light, and here's this, and also a payment schedule for us that we had water. So we were red tagged saying that we did not have water, and we have a contract with Board and Water Light that says our water will never be turned off, because when we go from tenants to landlord, and it always reverts back to our name. So, sorry. So this is that. Along with that is that people were saying that we didn't get in contact with the people who red tagged, which was Robert Walling. We called Robert Walling May 6th. He got back to us May 12th. And at that time, we told him it was no longer going to be a rental and that we were going to sell it. And we told him that the spigots were turned off because we didn't want people playing with them. And he said, okay. So we didn't even know that we were in trouble. I had back surgery in the middle of April. So I was laid up. My dad was 96 years old, and we got a phone call from them. So we didn't realize the priority and having to hurry up and do this house if it was not going to be a rental, and we're going to sell it. So, and it was red tagged because we had no water, but we did have water, so it should never have been red tagged in the first place. So I guess that's it. I'm kind of frustrated with this because every time we try to call somebody, we get the runaround. And then they change people to come and inspect it, and they did inspect it, but there's no contact about that either. So I got 10 seconds left. Do you what? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Our next speaker is Marcia Quenby, followed by Rebecca Nobles.
Hello, I'm here regarding 1218 Gordon, a make safe or demolish. I have with me the buyer who is interested in purchasing the property, and he is willing to make the dwelling safe. I had a roofer who came in and did shoddy work, and therefore damage occurred to the interior of my home. But this gentleman here is willing to purchase the home as long I'm requesting time for him to purchase this home and make the necessary corrections. And that is why I'm here today, because I have a purchaser. I don't want my home demolished, but I had a contractor who came in and said he did the roof. I paid him for the roof. I paid for the inspection of the roof as well. He did neither. He told me he had done it. It's a flat roof. You can't tell from the outside whether he'd done it or not. And evidently he did not do it. I hired another roofer, and they climbed up there and said he did not do the work, and damage occurred to the interior of the home. But this gentleman here is willing to buy the home as is and make the necessary corrections. So I'm requesting time to make the necessary corrections on my home rather than demolish my home at this time. And I just wanted to let him say what he had to say.
Yeah, my name is Najanona. I'm being a landlord for 26 years. I've been working with the city of Lansing, been 26 years. I see a lot of property been buying before, worse than that property what you have, been red tagged from before. and make them look great, turn it to a rental or flip them, either or. But I do have so far estimate for heating.
Sir, I'm sorry to interrupt. We don't have a sign-in sheet for you, so this is her 3 minutes and then,
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's contacted the city and received the necessary information. He's trying to make the corrections, is what he's trying to let you know. He's already gotten estimates for the work to be completed. So he's gotten estimates for the work to be completed, some of it, and all he needs to do from the city is have all the information of everything that they need corrected.
Yeah, I just needed to be agreement from.
Thank you. Sir,
You know.
if you want to speak to the council, you need to sign in.
Okay, thank you.
Our next speaker is Rebecca Nobles, followed by Alexandra Leonard.
Good evening, members of the City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Rebecca Nobles, and I serve as the Office Administrator for Kingdom Life Church. I am here on behalf of Kingdom Life Church and Pastor Coy Boyer regarding the former Maple Grove Elementary School located at 6031 South Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. After much discussion, planning, and prayer, Kingdom Life Church has made the decision to demolish this building. We recognize the condition of the structure and agree that it must come down. We share the city's desire to see this property become an asset to the south side of Lansing rather than the source of blight. To move toward the goal, we have already taken significant steps. We have obtained multiple demolition quotes and selected a demolition contractor. We have also selected BDS Environmental to complete the asbestos abatement, received a letter of intent, and are currently working to finalize the contract and secure a start date. In addition, through private fundraising efforts, Kingdom Life Church has raised approximately $90,000 over the last 4 months toward the estimated $350,000 cost of demolition. Over the next 60 days, we will launch a public fundraising campaign, continue seeking community support, host a fundraising event on the property on July 25th, and finalize our asbestos abatement agreement so work can begin. Our vision extends beyond demolition. We want to transform this property into a place that serves the community space where families can gather, organizations can partner, and events such as coat drives, back-to-school programs, community celebrations, and outreach incentives can take place. Tonight, we are asking the City Council to do more than simply hear our plan. We are asking you to partner with us. The city, citizens of Lansing, and Kingdom Life Church are all in agreement. This building needs to come down. The difference is the Kingdom Life Church has already begun the work. We have structured and secured contractors, developed a plan, and raised approximately $90,000 toward this project. We are actively moving forward. We also understand that if we are unable to complete the demolition, the city has the opportunity to step in and demolish the building itself and ultimately pass those costs on to us. So tonight, we respectfully ask if the city is prepared to ensure this building comes down anyway. Why not work with us now? Why spend taxpayer dollars on a project that may cost significantly more through the city-led process than there is already a committed community partner raising funds, securing contractors, and doing the work to make this happen? A partnership between the city and Kingdom Life Church creates a path to demolition that is faster, more cost-effective, and places less burden on the taxpayers of Lansing. Thank you.
Next is Alexandra Leonard, followed by Nicholas Zandy.
Hello. On October 30th last year, my entirely fenced double lot yard that has been a pollinator garden for nearly 14 years was entirely mowed down. Throughout the year, it is filled with violets, all kinds of milkweed, food for monarch butterflies, fiddlehead ferns, flowering trees, and a late summer yellow brilliance of black and brown-eyed Susans. I received a bill for $560. I'm not trying to brag in saying that passersby tell me that they love my yard. My mailman has said it's his favorite on his route, and many others ask me when the pandemic sunflower field is coming back. There were 9 days between the time I had received a notice and when this mowing happened. I had been gone for 6 of those days. This has never happened before. I had emailed code compliance explaining that what was over 8 inches was not grass and weeds, but was my garden made up of flowers and ferns. I had also invited code compliance to my yard to show them my goals, see how the yard evolves seasonally, and how this work is firmly rooted in scientific knowledge, at a time when we are experiencing climate change and scarily fast biodiversity loss. And my garden method is exactly what scientists worldwide are asking people to do on their properties. It makes a difference, and I have observed it. In the meantime, I had trimmed up the area enough that the claims board reduced the fine by $250, leaving me with a balance of $310. At the last city operations meeting, a motion to clear me of the remainder of the fine did not pass, but to my understanding, because the claims board and not the city operations committee had reduced the fine, that motion then voided the $250 reduction, putting me back to $560. A second vote was had, which then passed. These things were not clear to me during the 6 or 7 meetings that I've attended now. The pictures provided by the mowing contractor as proof of noncompliance were fuzzy, deeply contrasted, and looked like they were taken at night, which is not when this happened. Furthermore, I work with native plants professionally on public land. I also have a huge work of public art on the Shiawassee Street Bridge along the river trail that involved a couple thousand Lansing residents, including our mayor, making their own carved clay tiles that took me 3 years to put together during the pandemic. My point is that I work hard to beautify and activate the spaces where I live and work to make this city a place that people want to come to. I love Lansing. Also, kind of unrelated, tomorrow will be the 3-year anniversary of a horrendous knee injury that 3 years later I'm still physically recovering from, and I'm in the final stage of receiving a workers' compensation settlement. This injury has effectively ruined my financial stability the last few years, but I am really glad to have physically recovered. My ask is that this $560 fine be fully removed, as I did follow through on moving the yard into compliance, and I continue to work to be sure that my yard goals are very evident to everyone throughout the year. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final speaker for this section is Nicholas Zandy.
Hello, I'm Nicholas Zandy, and I'm going to be speaking pretty much on most make safe for demolish stuff and maybe a bit on the Mod Pod stuff if there's time for me to talk about that. First, speaking on the make safe for demolish, which most of them have to do with red tags. It's, again, the result of the city being apathetic at best when it comes to issues of homes being unmaintained by the city for so many years, whether it's an average resident or a landlord. And if I'm being honest, the fact that the city failed to resolve the issue over the years, it's like, again, you neglect a messy room for so long that it piles up that it becomes unlivable. That's essentially what this red tag issue basically is. And being neglectful like this is just, if I'm being honest, not to steal Adam Hussein's little catchphrase, not a way to run a city. And all this shows, as well as the Mod Pods taking a bit longer to even get off the ground, that the city of Lansing really needs new and bold leadership that can best bring the city forward into a new age. And considering that we're already getting a new city hall, we probably might need to have a new mayor that could probably reflect this new era. And for that, I'm saying that we should really consider a leader similar to Mondami or Nathia Rahman, I think that's how you pronounce her name, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, who actually understands the issue of the cost of living much more and can bring city governance to really a new generation of residents and to the people. It is, excuse me for not speaking right because it's really hot outside, but I do think that we really, and to the mayor, please, again, don't run for re-election and let someone new run, like, I don't know, Ryan Cost, Adam Hussein, or maybe Emily Devendorf, who last I checked actually does live in the city of Lansing. Let them run and maybe consider what their new vision of the city might be. I don't know. And considering that there already is appetite for that here in the state of Michigan statewide, considering that Abdul Saeed is now the front runner for Senate, and I think Will Lawrence may or may not be the front runner for Congress here in the Lansing area. So I think there is actual appetite and attitude for something like that, and I think we should really consider a new generation to address these issues, including the make safe or demolish red tag crisis that we're getting ourselves into. That's all I'm going to say, and I'll yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. We are to the referral of the public hearings. Item 4, the Oprah District.
The Committee on Development and Planning.
Item 5, the noise special permit.
Committee on Operations.
And the item 6, this noise, the special assessment for snow.
Committee on Operations.
Okay, we are to the consent agenda.
Vice President Palavanoglou.
Thank you. I move that the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
It's a proper motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We are to resolutions for action. Items 16, 17, and 18 are orders to make safe or demolish for various properties.
Councilmember Hussein.
Sure. The first that we have under resolutions for action deal with the address at 108 West Barnes Avenue. The listed taxpayer is Linda Haddad. The state equalized value is $16,400. The estimated cost of repairs is $137,000. This was originally red tagged back in November of 2024. We started pushing this through the make safe or demolish hearing. I'm sorry, I should say process. In 2025, there was a hearing in front of an officer on November 19th, 2025, and they gave the listed taxpayer until January 20th of 2026 to either make safe or demolish. At that point, it was conveyed to the City Council. City Council had a show cause hearing on this on April 20th. Since that time, we have taken a look at this in public safety. We did have a recommendation from the department of a 21-day make safe or demolish due to condition and also the absence of work. So with that being said, I would move the resolution for a 21-day make safe or demolish for the address of 108 West Barnes.
That is a proper motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and then was number 17 pulled?
Yes, we're pulling number 17.
I thought so, so we are on number 18. Number 18 deals with the property at 408 Sawyer Road. Listed taxpayer is a Jacob Kalanick. SEV, in this case, is $36,713, and the estimated cost of repairs is $139,000. The original red tag date was back in July of 2024. Again, city started to push this particular property through the make safe or demolish process in 2025. This ended up in front of a hearing officer in November of 2025, and they gave them 30 days to make that particular property safe or to demolish. That did not happen, so this was conveyed to council. Council did have a show cause hearing on February 23rd of this year. We have since taken a look at this in public safety. There has been no permit activity, no work that has been done, very little communication, if any, with the department. So with that said, there was a recommendation of 60 days in terms of a make safe or demolish from the department. Public safety did concur with that. And so before you is a resolution of a 60-day make safe or demolish. So I would move the resolution.
That is a proper motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Before we move on, Mr. Clerk, item 17 was pulled from the agenda. We discussed this in committee and just got lost in the shuffle. So that'll be heard at a different date.
Okay, very good. Items 19 and 20 are both claim appeals.
Councilmember Palavanoglou.
Thank you. I would actually, if we could call on
President
Councilmember
Spadafore,
Cost.
quickly before we start on 19, I need to ask for a motion to recuse myself from the vote. They are my cousins.
Would someone like to make a motion to recuse Councilmember Cost?
So moved.
It's been moved by Vice President Palavanoglou. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Councilmember Cost, you're recused.
Thank you. Number 19 is a claim of appeal number 2223 and $502 in red tagged fees as to 420 Sawyer Road. The date of the red red tag was April 29th, 2025. As we have heard, and we did have Karen Holmes speak a bit earlier during public comment, this was red tagged originally for being cited for no water in the home in terms of no utilities. The committee and this is interesting, and I just want to bring this up. The committee did receive a confirmation email from Board of Water and Light in our committee packets that indicated that there was no water service to that residence on April 29th when they went out and inspected. However, this email that has been presented counters the email that the committee viewed. And so I do want to bring that to your attention. The email that the committee considered was fairly brief. I believe it was 2 sentences maybe, indicating that water was off at that residence. But here today, Karen Holmes has presented an email with a chart of payments that seem to be related here, stating that there's an automatic leave on the rental property at 420 Sawyer Road since June 2nd of 1992. So again, the home was originally red tagged in April of 2025. There was a reinspection on this property in November of 2025, and the property was found to be inhabitable in addition to having utilities or the perception of utilities shut off. The report from code indicates that there were issues with the basement, kitchen, living room, and stairwell. They reported a deteriorated stove and glass on the stove, soiled carpet, and drywall damage in the stairwell area. So those items were noted in a November reinspection report at 420 Sawyer Road. On May 28th, the Committee of City Operations did vote to deny the claim of appeal. And here we are today hearing this. So what we have before us is a resolution to deny the claim of appeal. That is the resolution I will move, and I will turn this back over to President Spatafore.
That's a proper motion. I have a question. The payment documents in front, you said it was red tagged in April of 2025?
Yes.
The payment record in front of us has no record of April payment. It goes from March 1st of 2022 to July 3rd of 2025. So I'm not sure if it changes what the evidence.
You know, I did see that, but the text of the email, though, does indicate that there's an automatic leave on the rental property, and it goes on to explain, this means that if a tenant ends their services with Board of Water and Light, those services automatically revert back into Mr. Holmes' name without any interruption of the services.
They could shut it off, though, themselves, couldn't they? I'm just looking at the documents, curious. All right, those are my questions. Are there other questions? Seeing none, we do have a resolution for action in front of us. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to number 20 on our agenda, the claim of appeal number 2227. This is in the amount of $560 in grass violation fees at 425 North Foster Avenue. We did hear from this property owner again during our public comment portion, and she did indicate that she had a pollinator garden. She had lots of different types of flowers. She did appear at our most recent committee meeting on May 28th. I will say this is, I find these claims to not appear to be completely straightforward, and I will describe the events that occurred at our most recent committee meeting. When this item came to us, the property owner had been offered a reduced fee to $310 by the Claims Review Committee, meaning there was a $250 deduction of the full $560. Apparently, the Claims Review Committee did take into consideration that there were some flowers that were not necessarily weeds or tall grasses that were unallowable. They did mow the entirety of the yard. And also, the property owner had done some work to take care of the, I'm sorry, I'm not using the right term, but the thoroughfare, the right-of-way, thank you very much, to take care of the right-of-way issue. So that work had been conducted. The Claims Review Committee did acknowledge that and had reduced the fee to $310, again, omitting $250 of that full amount originally assessed. Now, what happened at the committee meeting is that we voted twice on this appeal. The first time the committee voted, we denied the appeal. And I will say that after some discussion, after the vote was taken, the assumption of committee, I will speak on my own behalf, and any other committee members feel free to jump in. My assumption is that we were voting on the amount of $310. We were informed after the vote was taken that actually we voted on the full amount of $560. Because it was an all or nothing scenario within that committee meeting. Council member Cost did make a motion to grant the appeal after some discussion involving our EDP folks and our city attorney's office. So that second motion was made and it was allowable. And then we voted again and we granted the appeal. And we were told that was in the full amount of $560. So that is the resolution that is before us today. The resolution we have was to grant the appeal in the amount of $560. And I will say personally, I did change my vote from the first vote to the second vote because I thought that reducing the fee by $250 was fair. And I felt that, I wish there were a way to have worked that out in committee so that we could vote on the $310 considering that work had been performed. We did have a contractor go out there, but it does acknowledge that there was some effort on part of the property owner. So all of that being said, here we are with the resolution in front of us for the full amount of $560, and the resolution is to grant the appeal, and I move the resolution.
Is there any further discussion? Councilmember Hussein.
I guess just a question for clarification, not just for this body, but folks that might be watching. If there was, at least in terms of the first vote, if there was some desire to maybe honor the decision of the Claims Review Committee, is there a reason why there wasn't a subsequent motion after it was determined that that's not actually what happened? Why that wasn't the motion that was put forth or considered?
We did ask that question in the committee meeting, and it was my understanding, and I'll just go off of my understanding based on what I heard. My understanding is that we had to vote on the full amount, is what I understood.
Everybody's looking at me, but nobody's actually asked me a question. I'm guessing the question that everybody's not asking is, but is that how that works? And I guess I watched a portion of this because many things happen at this committee meeting, not just this one. And all I will say is, without knowing specifically what had happened, if the question is called and that the resolution is proposed, an amendment is made to the resolution, and then that's what's voted on, that's what the committee is doing at that point. I guess the committee could always then say, wait, I don't know that that's what we wanted to do, we want to change it. But just like this body, once there's a final vote on an item, that's the vote on the item. You can ask for reconsideration, but if what's proposed is then voted on and carried, that's the vote. I don't know, and that's without me having watched everything. But you're the legislative body, you can reconsider. So I'll stop because no one actually asked me that question, but I think that's the question that everybody's not asking me.
All right. We'll start with Councilmember Palahnioglu, Councilmember Hussein, then Councilmember Martinez.
I do recall that part of the conversation had to do with the fact that the resident didn't sign off on the $250 reduction from the review committee at that time, which essentially would have stopped the process. We wouldn't be here if that amount had been accepted at the time. And so my recollection is that that was part of the reasoning that the $250 reduction wasn't accepted.
Sure. And I will provide this clarification only because this was a thing that we had discussed internally. So if the Claims Review Committee, which is not a council committee, that's an administrative, or I don't know, it's got a member from council, a member from my office, and a member from the mayor's office. If that body grants a partial appeal, then if the person accepts that, that's the final. If the person appeals it further to the council committee, at that point, what the Claims Review Committee has done is, it's not exactly null and void, but that's sort of set aside. What's in front of the council at that point is the total appeal. The person is saying, no, I want more. And so then the whole thing is open for the council to consider. And I guess that's possibly a clarification. And if that's still confusing, I'm happy to say that differently if anybody needs.
So my question is, and I should have just asked the question, so I apologize. So if the Claims Review Committee granted, in this case, I think it was $250, and then denied in full, we understand in terms of part of the appellate process that they can appeal to city council, but essentially that decision is rendered, right, moot at that point. As part of this particular committee, there's always a Claims Review Committee report, right? And so I guess what I'm curious, because I sat in this meeting simply because I wanted to hear the discussion on the Fireworks Safety Act, as well as our own ordinance and how that was being enforced throughout the city of Lansing, particularly parks. So that's why I was there. I was confused as I was watching, frankly, because it almost sounded as if people were under the impression that they didn't have the right as a committee member to say, you know what, after hearing the report and after looking at the packet of information and after hearing from this particular applicant, I actually agree with what the Claims Review Committee did. And so what I'd like to do is to move to grant the amount of $250 and deny the remainder in full. Are they not within their right to make a motion such as that?
They absolutely are within their right to make that motion.
Councilmember Martinez.
Thank you, and I appreciate the discussion. I would move to amend the resolution to partially grant the appeal in the amount of $250.
Leaving a balance of $310. There is an amendment that is properly before us. Is there a discussion on the amendment? So clarification, we'll be voting right now on amending the resolution, not the resolution itself. Councilmember Cost.
I think it is fair to share with the rest of council that there were concerns about the photographs. The evidence that was presented to us did in fact show issues initially. That was the initial photograph given or taken of the violation, but the checkup photo that said the violation was still in place was taken with the sun shining at it, and you could not see anything in this yard because there was a shadow as the sun was setting at that point. It was very hard, and I made the point during committee that if we had a clear photo of this, because we have one person, the claimant saying that she cleaned the stuff up, and then this photo of the supposed violation that wasn't done, but it's taken with the sun shooting into it. So you can't see in that photograph. You certainly can see when the contractor took photos after they did the work, that the work had been done. I think that the full amount was fair, and I understand the motion is now on a partial amount. I am going to vote no on the partial amount because we did discuss this, and my view is not a question of the pollinator garden, which code, if you're not aware, wasn't aware at the first meeting that we heard this and tabled it. I know you weren't there, Councilmember Pele Bonaglu or Vice President Pele Bonaglu, but one of the things I had mentioned was that the director at for EDP had mentioned the new property maintenance code that we adopted had more species of plants in it, which they didn't know, and texted me later and said, you were correct about that. I understand that this was prior to that, and you had bring that point up, which is an excellent point. But my argument's not with the pollinator garden. I understand that that is a violation. My issue is we didn't have a good enough photo for sure to say that this person didn't do a thing in her yard. And it is really tough for me to just give her a partial part of this when I had to send several emails to our public service director, who did take care of it, but the grass on Michigan was at my knees. I mean, if we're setting the example, we're not doing a good job of setting an example. We expect people to mow their lawns, take care of their lawns, but that was, that's an example that I use because it's right around the corner from this person's house. They see it every day, just like I do. I'm sorry, was there a joke I missed?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Councilmember Palvanaglu.
Thank you. To Councilmember Cost point on the photos, that was addressed at the most recent committee meeting that I did attend. I think some of the photo quality was fuzzy. For instance, we had some trouble finding dates on the bottom corner of the photos. The lighting was a bit off. And so that was addressed a bit during the committee meeting. It was addressed with one of the code officers who attended the meeting, and also with our internal staff to council to understand the quality of images that we're receiving. And that I will just say on my own behalf, it's sort of incumbent upon all of us to take a really good look at the photos. And if the quality is not that great, prior to the committee meeting, raising that with EDP or whichever office we're working with at the time to ensure that we are receiving quality photos, working with our staff here on council to understand, have they been scanned in, have they been duplicated in some way that compromises the quality of those images, or are they just not great photos to begin with? So there's some work that can be done to help that photo quality, the image that we're receiving, and better understand what we are looking at before making some of those determinations. So thank you. That's all I have to say on the photo topic.
Councilmember Navarez Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I have a couple of questions. So I would like some clarification on what our votes would actually do. So I know that the amendment that Councilwoman Martinez put forth was to bring the fine to 250, or to take 250 and make it 310. What is an affirmative vote on the initial resolution versus a no vote on the initial resolution do?
An affirmative vote on the initial resolution would fully grant the amount of $360. I'm sorry, $560.
So granted, meaning the homeowner has to pay it?
Would not.
Would not have to pay it, okay. And then a no vote would be we would say they should pay it.
Yes.
Okay. So I do also,
Well, it's not been amended yet, so yeah.
okay. I do want to make a comment because we've heard it several times at this meeting, that there may be some issues going on with our contractors in terms of when, proof that they're providing that their work is being done, or pictures that are not taken, well enough to be able to tell whether the work or the citation should be in place, et cetera. So that might be something that we'd want to review at some point. I also want to say that I find it very difficult to do these types of things when we do charge folks for this stuff. Like Councilmember Cost said, sometimes we are not trimming our own grass and we expect other folks to be able to do it, and we can police that and charge them, but sometimes people who have had crime done to them aren't getting the services that they need, and that isn't getting policed. And some folks will say that that's mixing apples and oranges, but it's not. We can police one thing but not another, and that's not okay. This is just essentially criminalizing things for things that aren't crimes. As a planner and someone who spends lots of times with landscape architects, we arbitrarily decide which plants are weeds and which aren't. They're just plants, and we categorize them. And so this makes me really upset. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. The motion, the vote on the amendment. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now, to the revised resolution granting $250 for a total assessment of $310. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we are to items 21 and 22 are both grant acceptances.
And item 21, I believe there is a substitute. Councilmember Carter.
Yes, I will ask for a motion to accept the substitute to include a portion. Currently, the city had received a grant agreement from MDOT for this project, but MDOT is requesting that the resolution include the contract number and the name of the official authorized to sign the contract. So the substitute resolution provides those two pieces. So I want a motion to accept the substitute first.
There's a motion before us to adopt the substitute. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Substitutes before us. Councilmember Carter.
Thank you. So this is a grant acceptance from Michigan Transportation Economic Development Fund on behalf of the Capital Region Airport Authority for Capital City Boulevard. Essentially, there was an award, dollar amount a little over 2.1 to TEDF 8-8 grant funding to the city of Lansing. This grant will enable the reconstruction of the Capital City Boulevard from Grand River Avenue to the CSX railroad tracks, which will assist NeoWave with its expansion. The required local funding share of this project is estimated to be a little over $547,000 and will be provided by the Capital Region Airport Authority. The Capital Region Airport Authority will be responsible for meeting all grant requirements, including contractor payment, construction oversight, and providing the Public Service Department with all information required to submit the MDOT for reimbursement of the grant. And again, with that substitute, that the mayor will be authorized to sign contract number 26-5223 between the city of Lansing and MDOT for this grant. And with that, I move the resolution.
It's a proper motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Councilmember Carter, item 22.
Yes, the next item is the grant acceptance for the Ingham County Housing and Homeless Millage for the Mod Pods for unhoused individuals. This is where the Ingham County Board of Commissioners allocated $400,000 in 2024 housing and homeless millage and $200,000 in 2025 housing and homeless millage funds on September 23rd of 2025. And this is to assist. The funds will be used to support the acquisition and setup of the Mod Pod units, including expenses related to site acquisition and preparation and other activities associated with the setup and transitional housing and supportive services for unhoused individuals within the city of Lansing. And with that, I move the resolution.
It's a proper motion. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Garza.
Just a quick question. Is that going to be a reoccurring grant? Have they said anything about that? I'm just wondering how this is going to be sustainable.
Yeah, to my knowledge, it has not been a reoccurring, but I would have to get that confirmed.
It's my understanding, too, that this was a one-time allocation to reimburse us for the expenditure of the actual pods.
So there shouldn't be any further allocations coming from Ingham County?
Councilmember, Mayor Shore.
It's entirely possible, but the allocation was for 2 years. It was 400, 200, first year, second year. I am not against asking again after 2 years for further dollars, but these were the dollars that were for the infrastructure to buy the pods. The rest came through the budget that was passed. But again, it doesn't mean we're not going to ask.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Cost.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Clerk. This is a relatively new item we just voted on, right? The millage. This millage was this last year on last year's ballot. This is.
No, it's 2 or 3 years old. 2 years. Because there's 2 FIs.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, I guess the question of reoccurring would be kind of interesting, yeah, because this is so new. I think we don't really know, but certainly we're going to need help, I would think, from this. So, okay, sorry, I was just trying to get some clarification.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Discussion? All right. Let me start over. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we are to ordinances for introduction. Item 23, we have an ordinance of the City of Lansing, Michigan to repeal Chapter 886 of the Lansing Codified Ordinances, tax exemptions for multifamily dwelling projects. As the incentive and project described therein has expired and the chapter is no longer needed. The ordinance is read the first time by its title and referred to the Committee on Ways and Means.
Councilmember Carter.
Thank you. Clerk, you summed it up with a public hearing for June 22nd.
Any further discussion on this introduction setting a public hearing? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and item 24 is an ordinance of the City of Lansing, Michigan to amend Chapter 886 of the Lansing Codified Ordinances, Sections 886.01 to 886.07, to authorize a property tax exemption for certain eligible properties in exchange for a service charge in lieu of taxes rate of 4% of annual shelters for up to 18 years in conformity with the State of Michigan property tax exemption alternative authorized under 1966 PA 346 as amended, specifically MCL 125.1415A, which permits a city to authorize by ordinance a rate below 10% of annual shelter rents. The ordinance is read a first time by its title and referred to the Committee on Ways and Means.
Could you repeat that? I'm just kidding. Councilmember
No.
Carter.
Thank you. I am actually going to turn it over to my colleague, Councilwoman Navarez Martinez.
Councilmember Navarez-Martinez.
Thank you, Councilwoman Carter and President Spatafor. So this ordinance would create a by right 4% pilot, which is a payment in lieu of taxes for affordable housing developments that meet a 30% affordability requirement. The goal is to make it easier to build affordable housing in Lansing while ensuring the city receives a meaningful public benefit in exchange for the tax incentive. The purpose of the ordinance is to create a more predictable pathway for affordable housing development and ensuring that the city receives a substantial public benefit in return for the tax incentive.
Any questions? Councilmember Hussein.
Yeah, so I actually have a few, particularly as they pertain to fiscal impact and accountability and oversight. I think the first one, and I'm not sure if this was discussed in committee or not, but is there evidence that it was discussed in committee that shows that 10% is essentially preventing projects from being built? And I don't know if the administration wants to weigh in. I don't know that it's been demonstrated consistently that having a 10% by right, again, is preventing those projects, and that projects are consistently infeasible at that particular percentage. So I'm just curious as to, what problem are we trying to solve here?
So we did not discuss it at committee, but LIHTC, the low-income housing tax credit program, has programs at two different program levels, the 4% and the 9%. Locally, we call it 10%. I presume that we did a locally defined thing at the time when we passed the original ordinance. These two different programs at the two different levels are used for two different things. So the 4% is usually used to build new housing, while the 9% is usually built for rehab, or used for rehab. And so that's one of the things that we're working on. So, or that we're trying to work with.
Okay. Well, and I'll certainly dig into that just a little bit more, but in terms of, so the buy, I guess my concern is the lost revenue in terms of all taxing jurisdictions. And so I don't know if we've looked at historical trends, over the past 15 years. This is how many pilots have been requested. This is how many we've actually approved at 10% as opposed to 8, 6, 4. And obviously, you want to extrapolate that out, but I am curious what the fiscal impact.
So that's a major misconception of the program.
Just real quick, what that financial impact will be on, again, all taxing jurisdictions moving forward. I guess the line of questioning is I just want to ensure, Ms. Navarez-Martinez, that what we're looking at is good, sound policy that makes sense for the city of Lansing and is not just good for developers. That frankly, and the reason why I always love the 10% by right, is that anything below that, the city is, really, really giving up quite a bit. And the hope is that there is some true public benefit. And we've looked at different applicants that are uniquely positioned as nonprofits. Maybe they're in-town developers that typically hire local. So you obviously have that public benefit. But frankly, most pilot applicants that come to the city of Lansing seem to be out of town, for-profit, quite wealthy, and really a lot of times they can make a project work at 10%. They acknowledge they can make a project work at 10%. They acknowledge that when they go to the state, as an example for a LIHTC, that the critical piece is to have a pilot in place, not necessarily a pilot of 4% versus 6% versus 8%. But that if the city has a 4% by right, well, of course, that's exactly what we're gonna go for, because that pads our pockets just a little bit more. So that's what I'm concerned about.
Well, so I think that that's a misunderstanding of how the Light Tech program works, because the 4% and the 9% are categories outlined in that program. They are not tax rates or affordability requirements. And so the low-income tax credit doesn't work on a continuum like that where projects are at 5, 6, 7, or 8, et cetera. They're at 4 or at 9.
But I'm not talking about the state, and what I'm talking about is the city of Lansing, our taxing jurisdictions, and what we're willing. I get the state's process. What I'm talking about is what we are doing and what we're vetting past the city council in terms of local impact and the incentive the city is giving, not the state. I'm not
Right.
talking about the actual tax
So
credits themselves.
in terms
So
of
I
that
just wanna make sure
question.
we're not confused in terms of.
We're not confused.
Okay.
We are not confused. When it comes to the tax breaks that we're giving as a city, what else are taxes for, or tax incentives as leverages that we have, if not to get benefits, in this case, affordable housing for low and moderate income people? That is what taxes are for. If we were getting them directly, we would hopefully be using them for that. And so this just creates a process that is more streamlined to be able to do that.
Okay, and certainly appreciate that. I just, again, have always appreciated the fact that anything below 10%, it's not that we're saying no, it's we're saying you need to come to council. There needs to be additional oversight. There needs to be additional accountability, and you need to truly prove, number one, financial need. Number two, the ability to actually own, operate, and manage these the way our low-income neighbors deserve for their residential units to be managed, owned, and operated. Because frankly, Ms. Navarez-Martinez, that's not what we're seeing, right?
Dr. Navarez-Martinez, thank you.
Dr. Navarez-Martinez. That's just not what we're seeing. So those folks on council that are on these sites consistently, again, it's just, unfortunately, it's just not what we're seeing. So it does add kind of a layer of accountability. At some point, maybe not today, maybe it's not appropriate, but it'd be interesting to hear from the administration as well, because they're the ones that are working on the front end with these particular applicants in terms of, the percentage and in terms of, demonstrating some type of financial need. So I think there's a lot to still, kind of flesh out with this. So I was just curious what types of questions were being asked in committee, what types of criteria were being used. Even the 4%, why not consider a 6% or an 8% or maybe a tiered model? Would this make Lansing an outlier, not just in the Tri-County region, but maybe across the state of Michigan? Are there other communities, as an example, that are similarly situated in position that are doing the 4% by right? And what have the results been there? And so I think there's a lot of questions to be answered.
Yep.
But certainly appreciate your work on this thing.
Yeah, and I actually really appreciate all of those questions, because I do hope that our community is listening and, get some of the information as we're having our conversations. So I think one of the first questions was, or something that you mentioned, was actually the last one was similarly situated communities. So Muskegon has a 4%, Grand Rapids has a 4%, that we would not be an outlier in, and then Detroit has even lower, I think. And so we wouldn't be an outlier. There are other communities who are experiencing great growth that are doing this. Muskegon, best example, I think, and then Grand Rapids has done really well as well. I think there was another question that I'm missing initially. Oh, the maybe lining of the pockets. I don't know. There were several things that you were, but I think.
And I think that's more of a question maybe for the administration. So when an applicant comes forward and they're trying to demonstrate financial need, I guess the question becomes, what are we even using? Are we using pro formas? Are we using, right? Because again, we have a number of times since I've been on council, we've actually said no to a pilot below 10%. And the project is still moved forward. And the project, we're still able to provide affordability in terms of housing. And on the back end, a lot of times the operatives would just acknowledge, well, of course, we're going to ask if we can get it. I mean, it's better for us, right, if we do that. But again, the project still move forward. The city over the next 30 to 35 years, I mean, for some of these projects, we're talking millions and millions of dollars into the city's coffers over the life of their pilot. Which is critical because it's not just about housing in an under-resourced community. It's actually being able to stand up the resources necessary to ascend them from their poverty. or their circumstances. So it's just, I'm in favor of pilots, but I'm also in favor of making sure there's accountability and oversight to ensure that it's a good agreement for all.
Well, and I'm glad to hear we're on the same side. So for the application, whether they're going to have the finances and all of this, the applications for these things, both at the city level and at the state level, are incredibly thorough and ask for lots of different information. That should, if they get to the process of whether it's going to get approved or not, we should know all of these things. And if that's not happening, then that's a problem, a whole other problem we need to fix in our bureaucracy in the city, and not a problem of this particular ordinance. In terms of oversight, I am definitely not asking for there to be no council oversight or no oversight at all. I am trying to make sure that what we have is a robust housing stock that helps folks who need it, because we have a problem with overcrowding in housing, so we need more. We also have an increasing number of folks who are unhoused, and literally the only thing that solves these issues is more housing. And so doing programs like this allows us to be able to help in the process of bringing more housing to our residents. And I also want to point out that this is a bit different than the 9% or the 10% that we already have in place, because in that ordinance, it's asked that there is a substantial element of housing. This particular ordinance specifies 30%, which is even higher than the majority of the light tech programs, which are capped at 20 or 25. And so this would mean that a 100-unit development would have to have at least 30%, so 30 units that are affordable to low-income, moderate housing. If they wanted the 4% without meeting that, they wouldn't be eligible. But if for some reason there would be a consideration of that, it would still have to come to council. So.
Okay. On setting the public hearing,
Yes, for June 22nd.
all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
We are to ordinances for passage. We have an ordinance of the City of Lansing, Michigan, to conform the Lansing codified ordinances to the 2026 revised Lansing City Charter by amending Chapter 218, adding Section 218.06 to provide for the creation and semi-annual update of a city tax and debt dashboard. The ordinance is read a second time by its title. It was reported from the Committee on Ways and Means and is on the order of immediate passage.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes, went over this a few different times, but again, this is amending the Chapter 218 to provide for the creation and semi-annual update of a city tax and debt dashboard. This is one of the several anticipated ordinance that came before the charter mandate. And essentially, this ordinance would add a new section of the city code requiring the city to publish a tax and debt dashboard on the public website. The dashboard would include two things: a breakdown of every millage the city levies, including property tax, dedicated debt, and special assessment millages with rates and dollar amounts, and the breakdown of every city debt instrument, including bonds, revenue bonds, and special assessments with principal, interest rate, and payment schedules. And it would go live August 1st of this year and be updated twice a year by August 1st and February 1st.
Motion before us is amending chapter, is the ordinance for passage. Any discussion? Seeing none, if the clerk would please call the roll.
Councilmember Pelivanoglu.
Yes.
Councilmember Spatafor.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Councilmember Garza.
Yes.
Councilmember Hussein.
Yes.
Councilmember Cost.
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez.
Yes.
Councilmember Navarro's Martinez.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays, the ordinance is adopted, and we are to speaker registration for public comment on city government-related matters. If you wish to address city council and have not signed in on a yellow form in the back, we'll give you about 1 more minute. And with that, we are to the referral items.
Vice President Pelivanoglu.
Thank you. I move that all items be considered as being read in full and that the proper referrals be made by President Spatafor.
It is a proper motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, from the clerk, minutes of boards and commissions.
Place on file.
And the Board of Water and Light budget and capital improvement plan.
Committee of the whole.
And Board of Water and Light proposed rate changes.
Committee of the whole.
From the mayor, petition for maintenance and improvement of Keller Drain.
Committee of the whole.
A ballot proposal for essential services millage restoration.
Committee of the whole.
And Board of Water and Light return on equity agreement amendment number 9.
Committee of the whole.
Communications and petitions, claim appeal Sheila Strong for $5.50 in trash violation fees.
City operations.
Communication from Reina Morales about concern regarding rising rental costs.
Place on file.
And a notice from the Liquor Control Commission, be a unicorn at 327 East Cesare Chavez, a liquor license transfer.
Committee on operations.
And we are to remarks by council members.
Any council members? Seeing none. Moving on.
Remarks by the mayor.
All right.
Okay, then to public comment, we have William R. Haker, followed by Barbara Patterson. Looks like William is no longer here. Barbara Patterson, followed by Loretta Stanaway.
I'm here on behalf of the petition for the maintenance and improvement of the Keller Drain, petition 29. And Mr. Daniel Dankin, he submitted a petition and he cited my address because the flooding occurred at my house. And so I'm just here to put a name with the petition to let you know that it was a flooding that because the drain was clogged up, the water on April the 16th, when we had the 2 major storms in April, on April 16th, the Keller Drain over flooded and the water just came right into my backyard. And so that caused flooding. And the flooding was so bad that basically my basement recycled water. And so I'm here because I also sent a message to Mark Jones in the city of Lansing, and he responded in a very, insulting manner that Mr. Dankin, he visited my home and saw the flooding, saw my backyard and how bad it was. And then when I called the city council, I was ping-ponged around, speaking to Mr. Jones, and he sent me an email just recently saying, oh, it slipped my mind that I am submitting and saying that I'm not eligible for the water protection program. But Mr. Dankin, who was in my home and saw the basement, said, I am a prime candidate for it, because in the petition you will see, which will be submitted on Thursday, June the 11th, that he cites it's a health issue. I had water in my basement for about 2 weeks because of the recycling water because of the Keller Drain issue. And I guess I'm here because I'm listening to everyone and all those who spoke, and you all are sitting in elected positions, but I don't think some of you have visited the areas that you are responsible for. It wasn't until I put this petition out and pressed and advocated for myself that Mr. Dankin stopped in, that the drain commissioner stopped in from Eden County, and they saw it for themselves. And Mr. Mayor, I have 15 seconds, but you stopped at my home the first time you ran for mayor, spoke to me directly, talked about your being an alum of Everett. I said, I'm an alum of Everett. I voted for you. I was going to vote for somebody else, but I voted for you. So, again, I know that I'm ending, but like I said, I think that you all need to get out in the community to see
Thank you very much.
where
The
you
next
are
speaker
responsible
is Loretta
for.
Stanaway,
Thank you.
followed by Frederick McLaughlin.
Okay, many of you have been here long enough that you know that I have a long-standing aversion to pilots in the first place. My understanding of the way a pilot works is essentially a developer pays less in taxes than they would have otherwise paid, which means the citizens get less in services than they would otherwise get because those taxes pay for a variety of different things that come under our millages and other programs. So I think from a citizenry perspective, to equate having more low-income housing as being an equivalent public benefit as the public benefit would be if all the taxes that were due were paid is a false narrative. It's not equivalent. There's a value to the low-income housing, yes, but there's a greater value for most of us in seeing our services provided that we are paying our taxes for. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Frederick McLaughlin, followed by Melissa Kwan-Huber.
Okay, my name is Frederick. Let's see if I can get a report here. Fredman, his middle knees is middle knee adjustness is Fred McLaughlin, and I'm trying to tool it up is here what is to be tuned up. What I'm interested wanted to say about is that I've got community butt shield and
Mr. McLaughlin, are you
butt
all
and
right?
I back of
Mr. McLaughlin, are you all right?
yeah I'm kind of having trouble to reaching this. Yeah. Let me come back after it.
Yeah, we'll come back to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
No. Yeah. Sir, are you all right? Yeah. Are you sure? Okay. Let us know if you need medical services or anything.
Melissa Huber, followed by Nicholas Zandy.
Hello, I'm glad to be back here, and I'm going in reverse order. I have been a recipient of some code compliance violations, but as a neighborhood advocate, I'm here to ask for your help in looking at solving this on a larger scale because it affects a lot of other neighbors as well throughout the city. So the two problems that we are experiencing is one, as you mentioned, we are criminalizing plants, and I will have things here to give to the clerk for all of you, but I have some petitions that represent thousands of dollars of other people having their pollinator gardens mowed, fined, etc. And for me in particular, that's been an issue, but as making it worse is that we also have a resident who's recently gone to social media to acknowledge that they are the source of a lot of anonymous complaints throughout neighborhoods in the city, and that's essentially very problematic given that it's stirring the pot in a lot of neighborhoods trying to use ambiguous, outdated, confusing, very subjective ordinances to achieve some personal goals and some personal ends for that. So I'm asking a couple of things for you is to consider updates to our outdated, ambiguous nuisance ordinances, to also implement some safeguards in our city complaint system to prevent it from being misused for personal or political gain, revenge, or other malicious intent, and to consider a temporary moratorium on enforcing some of these nuisance property violations that are not directly related to health, safety, public works, or at least until we get these matters resolved, and particularly for this growing season, because a lot of these issues pertain to our flowers, our vegetable gardens, and things like that. And at this point, people are very much struggling, and it does not seem to be the right time to be finding residents for trying to grow food, for supporting the environment, or making room for their families. As some people, as you may have noticed, we have lots of multi-generational families living in our cities. That means lots of extra drivers. It means sometimes you need to park your car a little bit off the driveway in order to get wheelchairs, walkers, strollers through, or for your letter carrier to get to your mailbox to deliver your mail. So it's been very unhelpful to have these ordinances used against us in a city where we try to help each other. We don't turn each other in. So I'd be curious to know where many of your violations regarding pollinator gardens are coming from. Are they neighbors or elsewhere? Because in my neighborhood, people were very upset that I received these complaints about gardens that they very much value, and one neighbor actually even purchased the house next to mine because they appreciated the right-of-way plantings that I did.
Thank you.
That do, the ordinances actually conflict with city policy right now. So
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna give this to clerk or
Yeah,
someone.
we'll grab it. Nicholas Zandy is next.
Petitions, and these are the ordinances we'd like to see revised. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicholas Zandy, president of the Old Everett Neighborhood Association, and I'm going to be speaking about the planters on Cedar Street and what we found while we in the Old Everett Neighborhood Association were planting flowers in them. What I found, and by the way, if you're wondering where those planters are, they're next to the auto zone between Cedar and the service drive, and I believe Councilmember Garza has actually planted them a few times. So what I found, other than like the typical like overgrown plants and weeds that have been developing over the years, what I found was lots of garbage. That's not just like the typical fast food bag, shopping bags, and bottles, but also unopened pretzel and chip bags in a soaking wet cardboard box, and worst of all, a clearly expired lunch meat, probably ham from Meijer's deli section, in one of them, which is all kinds of gross on so many levels. And it's very clear that one of the main culprits is the fact that there isn't really a huge like trash can near that. The only closest thing they have is like a wastebasket for the bus stop, which is not big enough to carry some of that garbage. So, as I found when I've had to stuff it into that thing, like, that is just straight up, I just cannot believe just how much garbage filth just built up over the years. And it's very clear that not only does there need to be a proper garbage can there that can actually fill that up, but also I think there should at least be a sign or at least a designation that the planters should be more designated as like a community garden with a sign that says that you can leave flowers and other non-edible plants in that garden, but please do not leave any garbage in there and put them in the bin like a smart person. That is just all kinds of gross to see all that stuff, and I was utterly shocked and I just cringed when I saw that. And luckily I didn't throw up, but I might as well have just seeing all of that, and I hope other people have strong enough stomachs like I have, even though I have acid reflux, but that's a whole other thing. So that's all I'm gonna say about it, but please leave your trash out of those planters, and I'll yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. Mr. McLaughlin, would you like to come back?
Part of my challenge here is to get this thoughtfulness together. I sent out information that showed how to put out the costs of doing things that have to do with the annual comprehensive finance report, and also especially the statement that has to do with recommended processes. And those practices, those recommended practices that go on, and this is normal finance reports that are put up in a way that you're used to. But what most states are not used to is following up the statement recommended practices. And the importance of that is to make sure that that it gives you over a length of time what's happening over time, so that we're not just looking at what it looks like for this year and maybe even the past year. And what one finds in looking at that record over a period of years, and what I sent to you, I think has maybe 15, 16, 17 years in it, you begin to see the changes that are happening over a period of time. So you see what issues might be standing up strongly, and there's a real strong concern about getting at those things. But it also points out that the manner in which we are developing the city is a lot more different than having the city itself actually recommend the construction of the city. So what I mean by that is it's not something that we can have large groups like we've done just now with Michigan Avenue, all the way over from the Capitol building over to Frandor. And the problem with that is it looks pretty dull. I mean, it looks pretty much the same all the way from one end to the other. And the way that you get a community development, which is far more important than economical development, the community development is what really needs to be emphasized, and that will happen between much smaller groups of people, and there will be much more liveliness to the community. And so hopefully you'll look through that information that I sent to you and see what you can begin to understand from it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last speaker. Seeing no further business before the committee, the City Council at 9:12 p.m. We are adjourned.
A compliment or an insult?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.